Today I was like, okay, everyone gets his favorite champion and let's see what happens. And yeah, it worked out pretty well.
Hi, here's Dr. Puppet for the Shotcaller. Unfortunately, Darius got sick today, so I am jumping in to the interview with Duke. So, how are you feeling after last week you qualified for the playoffs, obviously, and now just won against Misfits? How is the mood today? How is the team today?
I mean, today we are just fine. We were really happy last week because we qualified for playoff. So this week we were a bit more laid back, I would say. So we want to try a bit new, use this time on stage to try new stuff, kind of test our limits. Yeah. So we are happy with the win because a win is a win, right? But yeah.
Of course. But like, I saw a few tweets this week. Like, according to the matchup, you're at the late game kings. Like, I saw a big poster. Actually, it should be an Avengers movie, but I think someone changed it to be like the Splyce, the late game. And today you picked Azir and Vayne. Mm-hmm. So would you consider now the late game kings?
I mean, today our draft was really terrible, but we wanted kind of to try matchups that basically push our limits in terms of the matchup we can afford to pick on stage. The Azir pick was really off, of course, but the thing is, we tried in recent weeks to go for way more early game to try to improve, I would say, the image we have. Today, I would say, of course, our draft was late game and we should never pick the Azir especially. But to be fair, I think Vayne is, as much as she's really strong in the late game, I think she spikes super early now on 2 items, which makes her really strong. So, of course, today's draft was really late game oriented, but in general, at the moment, we try to play more for early game. And that's why we have actually really good stats in the early game on other games, I would say.
Yeah, but I don't think, like, except for maybe the mid-lane matchup, Lissandra into Azir, which should be favor for Lissandra, but would you consider, like, the Lucian Fiddle be much more aggressive than the Vayne Brawl lane?
Oh, yeah, like they can get the priority. Basically, like the draft, in this draft where we want to Lucian Braum, we should pick whether Lissandra 1-2 or Syndra 3rd to counter the priority for mid lane, because they can have the priority on bot lane, and afterwards at 6 they can just push and move and cover the dive bot. The thing is that their playstyle is kind of predictable, so they should be able also to dive top if they want, but since it's Misfit they will most likely dive bot, so we just had to cover the dive bot and wait until 2 items. But technically, if you want to afford this draft where Vayne Braum, you have to third pick, I would say, Syndra or 1-2 Lissandra.
So that's why you chose the Poppy for top lane then?
We were seeing the Yorick coming from pretty far away, considering they banned Jax and Renekton. So one of the probably Yorick counter that you can go for is Aurelia. But as Chachil, okay, do we pick Aurelia here? And he said, no, like, give me Poppy. And I mean, usually we would fight more for this kind of picks, but today I was like, okay, everyone gets his favorite champion and let's see what happens. And yeah, it worked out pretty well.
I mean, seems that they had a good time right there. Mm-hmm. So how was it actually to work with Humanoid, the whole split? I mean, like, he's the new player in the team, and now you worked basically a split with him. How did he mesh up with the team? Is he doing as expected, or how do you see, like, going to the playoffs with him?
So Humanoid needs a lot of experience and to mature a bit, but he's extremely talented individually. He can become a really, really good player. Our work is just to make sure that he kind of opens up to team discussions, that he's able to have to understand the point of view of other people. I think that's the most important thing he has been working on and that he needs to work on. But I think he meshes really well. Like, he gets along really well with the other players, and I think he's learning pretty fast. So we are really happy with his improvements.
So how do you see actually the meta going into the playoffs? Because we've seen a more of switch, because it was in the beginning of the split very early game focus. Now we're slightly going more to a late game oriented approach. We're kind of a healthy mix, so to say. Like, it's still favored to the early game, but we've seen more teams picking up more viable late game strategies and also split pushing strategies with the hype of Yorick, for example, showing up. How do you see, like, the meta evolving from here into the playoffs?
I would say that with the playoff, and the more we'll go deep in the playoff, the meta will narrow down to early game and maybe 1-3-1, as it's almost always the case in any big tournament, because all the top teams start to are more and more able to snowball their early lead, so you kind of need to match them. And so I think it's important to have some elements in your composition to be able to match late game team fighting, for example, from time to time. But I think that the early game will be extremely important, and most likely 1-3-1 if we go like in the further, like the deeper stage of playoffs.
All right. Yeah, I can see that, but I think like split push should be not a new concept to you guys, and so I'm excited to see what you bring there. Anyways, you have a last game to play tomorrow, and it's going to be with Fnatic. Fnatic has been looking a lot stronger lately, and they're still in the race to get a playoff spot. How do you see your matchup against Fnatic tomorrow?
I think Fnatic are really strong at the moment. I mean, they are what we expected Fnatic to be, right? They are the world finalists in a sense. So they got back to their normal form. I would say that they even have a margin of improvement still. We can match pretty fine with Fnatic. I think they also look to team fight in general, so it could be interesting to see how we fight against them. I think we have a shot against them tomorrow. It will be an interesting match for sure to end the regular season.
There might be a slight possibility that if you win tomorrow and Fnatic, like if Fnatic lose today and you win tomorrow, that you kick Fnatic out of playoffs. Would it be this like a bittersweet victory for you guys?
Bittersweet victory?
Yeah, like
to kick Fnatic off? No, not at all. I mean, it's actually we are just fighting against everyone, and kicking the world finalist from playoff would actually be, I would say, pretty fun.
All right. Because I've heard a few people are actually scared to face Fnatic in the playoffs because they are looking stronger now. So would you see like, independent like of the results tomorrow, like that you could beat any team in the playoffs?
I think in best of 5 we can probably beat any team. It all depends on how we are the day during the match. We will most likely not be favorite, but to be honest, we are never favorite when we play a match, so we are used to it. I think we can beat pretty much anyone. I think the top team at the moment, top teams are G2, Vitality, and Origin that are looking really good. But yeah, if we have a proper draft, like we are really planning our strategy going into this match, I think we can beat anyone. Yeah.
All right. So as for my last question, not really a question because at the end everybody has to choose a hashtag. Mm-hmm. So do you have a hashtag for everybody watching?
I mean, I think our hashtag should be #Splyce early game. That is how we want to play the game, even if today was not really the case. But I think we improved a lot on that aspect. And to be honest, I would say that our problem is actually our mid game. So it was a good way to try it at the moment. So yeah, Splyce early game is the new hashtag.
All right. Any shout outs to the fans and people supporting Splyce?
Yeah, shout out to all the fans, everyone who are supporting us. We see more and more people tagging along our rise in the standings. So it was really good, and thank you also to my fans from France.
All right, so thank you everybody for watching. This was Dr. Puppet for the Shotcaller, and follow us and subscribe to the channel for more EU coverage coming up next.
Everyone, unfortunately we still don't have a sponsor, so we do really rely on you guys supporting us on Patreon. So we'd especially like to thank Krzysztof Bujnovic, Thomas Göttel, Etienne, Erich Althaus, Lazy Raven, Lama Vyuta, and Adam Novosviat for your support, and of course all the names of the people you see scrolling past you right now. It is genuinely truth when I say that without you this wouldn't be possible right now, so we really do appreciate it. Thank you.